Todd, the young Syracuse. Who are Todd?
Who am I? Yeah, so my background is in engineering, a bachelor's and master's degrees in mechanical engineering, and then a master's in business administration and a PhD in business administration. And before becoming a professor, I was an engineer at Ford Motor Company, where I first came to know Mexico. I worked for a brief period at the factory at Hermosillo on a new vehicle launch there. Decided to leave Ford Motor Company to become a professor when I wanted to do something more socially responsible and that was more than just the auto industry. It was my motivation, and to be a teacher was my motivation for leaving the auto industry and becoming a professor.
And now you're a professor.
I'm a professor and I'm very happy. Sustainability, yes. And I am in the entrepreneurship department, and entrepreneurship and emerging enterprises. Syracuse is one of the few universities in the United States that has a department of entrepreneurship in the business school. And so we focus on new enterprise as well as corporate entrepreneurship. And my emphasis is on sustainability, social and economic and environmental. Right.
And how's the thing on the United States sustainability on business?
Yes, the current state, I would definitely, it is a trend. It is not a fad.
Right.
Especially with the current generation, millennials growing up, it is here to stay and not going away anytime soon. And so I see that in the students taking the classes at Syracuse University, especially from other parts of the world. They are all interested in helping their own countries to become more sustainable. And we see this in large companies like Apple and Hewlett Packard, these companies that are at the top of the rankings for sustainability. But we also see it in smaller companies. I'm very familiar with more in upstate New York, near Syracuse. Smaller private companies can often be very sustainable because they have complete control. The owners have control over how to run their business. So they can have solar power or wind power to help run their business. They don't need board of director approval. They don't need stockholders to determine their choices.
Do you consider that sustainability can be a competitive advantage?
Oh yes.
If you think so, but what about your students?
That's what I try to teach our students. Okay. Because there is definitely a perception that if to be sustainable, you cannot be as economically sustainable. If you do better social and environmental, there's a trade-off, or they sometimes conflict. But the opportunity is to see how they work together to improve things, and that's in the class. That's what I try to show students, is that there does not have to be conflict, but that businesses can be profitable and make society and the environment better.
Here in Latin America, maybe you know that, but let me tell you something. Here in Latin America, there is still a lot of confusion, in my point of view. Corporation responsibility is far certification to be used such as a brand.
Yes, advertising.
And not such as a strategy. How could a change be generated in that way?
I am learning about Latin America now, being here in Mexico, from learning about sustainability here, and I'm very happy to see progress being made here. I think it starts by a mindset that competitive advantage is about that's what strategy is. Keeping a competitive advantage relative to others in your industry. And so if a company can take sustainability and have that be aligned with its mission to help its business model, then it will be profitable. I think sustainability should be targeted and consistent with the company. So I am learning about Talks Restaurant Group here in Mexico, and about a project with coffee, for example, right? And how they are able to improve their supply chain, and by doing that, the farmers are becoming more wealthy, and Talks is getting the coffee at a cheaper price, and so it is advantageous to Talks and for the farmers as
Right,
well.
sure.
Right. It helps. It is an advantage to talks to be more sustainable in their supply chain.
Todd, your view of 5 years ago. What's the future in the next 5 years to
yes.
the sustainability?
Well, I am very excited about the future of sustainability, and I'll see generally, and then Latin America specifically. Generally, I mentioned before, it is a trend. The marketplace is demanding
Right, sure.
more sustainability. So companies that will be successful have to address this. And the information technology is making transparency much easier. Well, companies can report more information if they choose to, or if they don't choose to, consumers will demand
Right,
more information.
I agree.
Okay, because they want to know what they are buying, and if I am buying a product, how is it affecting indigenous peoples, for example. I think increases in information technology will make it easier for companies to be transparent and not only report information but gather information in the supply chain. For example, to know, yes, we produce these products, but our suppliers and their suppliers and their suppliers, we know how they are doing to be more sustainable, so we can tell consumers. Okay, I will say one fear I have about Latin America. I worry that change in social responsibility will come from multinational corporations only. I've been driving past Santa Fe area of Mexico City, and I see Ford headquarters and Google headquarters, and it would be unfortunate if the advances in CSR came only from multinational corporations. I see this as an opportunity for Mexican companies, Latin American companies, to contribute in their own unique way to sustainability. I hope that they can find models that they can export to Europe and the United States, rather than Europe and United States importing sustainability to Latin America. And so, for example, with the Talks Coffee Project, in the United States, we do not grow coffee. We have to buy a fair trade coffee to say it is sustainable. And yet a company like Talks can work directly in the supply chain so to affect change that is lasting for everyone. And so that is a unique way that a Latin American company can be more socially responsible. And so I would invite all your viewers and people who are following you on social media, companies to ask what can we do that is unique to Latin America, to Mexico, to be more sustainable, that we can then teach other countries.
We have a very tough work here in Mexico about the big corporations, because the headquarters know the strategy, they define the strategy, but here in Mexico and in other countries didn't know what it's about that thing.
Yes.
So what's your opinion in that way? Because we have great brands, great corporations who define with the SDGs, and with the countries, then other countries didn't know that. What's your opinion? Do you agree with that?
The SDGs are since you mentioned them, they're a powerful tool, I think, to help companies and countries to become more sustainable. And what I like about SDGs is that they provide a goal, but they do not dictate how to reach that goal. And so a United States company might approach it this way, or a Latin American company may approach it this way to reach the same goal. And earlier you mentioned that sustainability is more of a brand, an image, and not substantial, real change. I think maybe we have to start somewhere to let the public know that a company is trying to be more sustainable is important. I think you have to add with that transparency. Not just, oh, we are more sustainable, look, we have a certification. Okay, what about the certification? How many tons of greenhouse gases are you reducing? How are you improving employee relationships? Right? Providing more information to consumers. I think it can be a powerful tool if it is used in the right way.
Okay, Todd, thank you very much.
Thank you, Edgar.
Welcome, Mexico. We hope you see here soon.
I hope to come back very soon. Thank you.
My pleasure.